more clarity about this faith. As a rudder is an indispensable necessity for the safe piloting of a boat on the ocean, so faith is to life in the world. Faith can be defined as the unflinching reliance upon an invincible truth that resides in the heart of a human being. A man without faith is a vacillating creature, vacillating between sorrow and fear, whereas he who possesses faith is the real hero who has conquered weakness and stands firm like a rock in all the storms of life. He not only faces bravely all the shocks that come to him in life, but also with an irresistible will triumphs over them. The one predominant quality of faith is fearlessness. The almighty power lodged within him is his main refuge. The soul that has this faith is ever sure of his ground and lives and acts unerringly in agreement with the promptings of the great deed which he cherishes and adores it in his own heart. Such a faith is said to work wonders. Wonders appearing as such according to the external laws that govern things. As a certain cause produces an inevitable result, which is true of most things perceptible to the senses, so through faith, as the cause certain results are produced, which through seemingly strange are perfectly natural in the inner workings of nature. Instead of using the power of faith in trying to mold external affairs, the right use of this power is to effect a transformation of one's entire heart and life. If there is one being on whom we can put absolute trust, or on whom we can depend at all times and in all conditions, it should be the supreme truth. Man's fall from his divine state is due to his lack of faith in an ultimate reality. Sterling faith is closely associated with selfless love. The heart is the seat of love, so also the seat of truth, and truth and love being one. Faith means undoubting confidence in the greatness of the truth. Selfless love never fails. The apparent failure is not the criterion. The apparent failure is not the criterion to judge the effect of love. Love starts its work from the heart of the inner life. The inception of faith is in the soul of man. So then, faith and trust, I think, is one and the same now. Fulfilling itself by a perversion of the pure emotion of love in it, and culminating in blissful, spontaneous service through all its external movements. Faith is therefore an essentially divine acquisition. That is what Papa wants, faith and devotion. When he says, chant Ram Nam with faith and devotion. Now it is clear, why we have not been able to derive the fullest benefits from chanting Ram Nam. Every time he will use that word. Chant the name of God with faith and devotion. Faith and devotion. And this faith is what? Faith is therefore an essentially divine acquisition. It takes the struggling and aspiring soul to the highest ideal, even beyond all thought and ideation, and makes his life a continuous stream of ecstasy, born of an exalted vision. So this is how he brings the faith as he understood, as he experienced. So he says, your faith alone has cured. The divine acquisition in you has failed. That is why the wonder has come. So 2-3 things are there. One is the clarity on the word faith. Another is the test you meted out to him, whether he takes credit of it. He gives the credit to that power. Before that he says, God never punishes. So it is a sense of individuality. When it is subjected to go through things, gets punished by itself. Just like, in the pot, we may take dirty water as well as good water. The pot, when after it's cleaning, it doesn't carry. The pot is impartial, Prior to building this room,
everything is Ram's own creation. Ram's own creation. All is in him.
The attached to our Pujya Swamiji's room was a lavatory and bathroom. So when it was decided that he wanted more space, that was used by all of us, we thought of demolishing it, extending that room for a bigger room. Otherwise there was no crowd at Swamiji's. So previously it was used as bathroom and lavatory. When the extension took place, it suddenly got the color of Swamiji's bedroom. Space has nothing. Space does not say anything. How we make use of it. So we can use it as a bedroom later. We were also using it as a lavatory. Space remains. I am available to you. So God does not punish means it does not say anything. It is open. It is always unconditional. Great void allows every thought to get entertained there. Whether it is a destructive thought or a constructive thought, whether it is a positive thought, whether it is a negative thought, whether it is a violent thought, whether it is a sattvic thought, it allows. It doesn't get affected by it. So here God never punishes. God is love and is always kind. Our own doubts are our enemies and create a lot of mischief. The so-called evil is our own making. It's also another point. Everywhere we have to do a lot of pondering, then only it becomes clear. So the credit was also not taken. He elaborately explains about faith, and then the transformation had taken place. He became very much attached to Papa later. And here also, before he closes, he makes a mention about the charitable nature. And somewhere he puts 10% of his salary, made it a rule to utilize about 10% of his salary for charity. This is really a beautiful hint. Because here the need to be slowly brought in. Why should I give charity? I do everything. Papa, in one of his aphorisms, there is a chapter in Divine Life. Remember, nothing is yours. Everything is God's. So when we are appropriating His, should we not also share something to Him? He has allowed us to appropriate for us by making available so many things to us. But in that process, should we not be conscious that it is who we have given? That is why, some school of thought used to say, you cannot offer anything to God. What is yours? You are taking God's and offering back to Him and say that I have offered. I have heard many devotees telling us, it is something unique, Papa's blessings. When we say not necessary, they will say, it is Papa's only, He gave us. At the moment, we are the custodian, that's all. Even day for yesterday, we happen to hear the same word. It is very touching, very touching. It is not your or mine, it is His, For the time being, He has given us the, Vyavaharik power. But ultimately, we should know it is all His. This attitude. Though we are possessing it, we are possessing it with the feeling that we are possessing God. So in that case, whenever He brings out any any occasion, any field, should we not apportion to him, which is called a charitable act. So this point also Papa brings here. Grihasthashramis he has mentioned because others are not earning, Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyasi. So the only earning member, the vibrant, active field is this Grihastha. And they are the ones who are taking care of the entire three other ashrams. They are toiling in the field and they are bringing it and they are, ashram is being run by whom? Grihasthashramis who are involved in various field activities, they send the offering here. God makes them to do that. And charitable nature. Today we have gone out of time. In Kerala, especially in this part, so many things, touching things are happening. Anybody is not well, suppose it is put in the paper and when people come to know of it, immediately they send for one operation, some cost about 10 or 15 lakhs, 20 lakhs or something like that. Poor. Very poor family. Somehow somebody was kind enough to bring it out in the paper. Day before yesterday, somebody was telling, the collection went up to more than 1 crore rupees. So now police is inquiring how they, who has all donated, how much they have donated. So we have seen here a person who is having 4 buses, and every day nowadays because of this pandemic, it has stopped previously. The first day collection goes for a patient. So he has got a big list, he will verify. First day of his 4 buses collection. It goes on that day there won't be any tickets. You see the wonderful way. So when somebody comes, he will give all the details. And suppose the bus fare is 20 rupees, I will not put 20, I put 50 or 100. The moment, I cannot give that much, but I can give this much. So not only that the owner of the bus does this, he touches and kindles so many such charitable nature, the passing nature in everybody's heart. More about this on Monday, Tuesday.
The chart is there. Chart.
Chart
they have written.
But today we have already exceeded 5 minutes. But our cooking arrangement was not all right by 3:30. This is Pahatechaveli. Audio is better, but still there are some people who are not in our hands. Tera
Tujhko arpan.
ठीक है. Ram speaks within through inner voice. Okay. So we will all meet again for the Himalayan journey. No? There are 3 chapters exclusively kept for the Himalayan journey. We will, you may all go through that. It doesn't contain much, excepting Papa enjoying the Himalaya. And we will just go through. So far, every now and then we also need some sightseeing. It should not be merely a serious talk, serious discussion. There should be some lighter part also. So he is now taking us to the Himalayas some day after tomorrow. In the meantime, so many sublime points have been brought in today. Let us all try to assimilate. We would have only seen one facet of it, one side of it. There could be so many sides. That will come only when we start applying our mind. trust, faith, and then miracle, great void, charitable nature, not surface level reading, the boldness, the fearlessness to undertake anything, not out of adventurism, but out of real faith, trust in God. So these are some of the points on which today Papa made us to dwell more intently, and then apply, go back to your own life. Definitely He has given a lot of such experiences, but we have never attributed to God. We have either attributed to ourselves how we have beautifully managed, or we find some individuals or situations and we say, by luck, He came to my rescue and did it. So we have never brought in this dimension. So the purpose of going through is only that, make me thine and thine only forever and ever. He has given us a lot of experience, but somehow He has not opened up the aperture to know the real power behind which has been happening. So let us all try our level best. It is not that easy, because our me and mind is very strong. In spite of reading all these things, in spite of leading supposed to be a sattvic life, still it is very, very, very strong enough. That is why it is refusing to bring in the God dimension. So the purpose Papa put purposely is this. Mataji wanted us to read this periodically only to, rub and scrub. Rubbing and scrubbing of the me and mind. Still it comes back. Like the moth, after when we wash again, the rain comes again, the moth develops. Similarly, when we get into, Papa said, the elephant, when it is cleaned, it goes out again, it puts the mud on its own body. It has been cleaned, for which, the people have taken so many days to clean. So we are like that. We try to clean it, but again, when we get into Vyavaharic dealing, somebody says something, immediately I am there. I did this, I must go. That comes to me always. So we have to be alert. The purpose of going through in quest of God with this perspective is only to lessen the me and mind in us. Hari Om. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. 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 Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram